everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this really pretty shell stitch cowl or scarf. So for my scarf I used a 4mm crochet hook and fine yarn. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin your scarf, you want to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop. And then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, so take your hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have a slip knot. So once you have your slip knot, you now want to make your foundation chain. And for our foundation chain, we are going to chain 44. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 44. So I have finished making my foundation chain, and we are now ready to move on to round 1 of our scarf. So we are now on to round 1, and to begin this round, we are going to go into the second chain from the hook and work 1 single crochet. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain. And into this one, we're going to do a single crochet. So to do a single crochet, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have 1 single crochet into that chain. And now we are going to skip 2 chains. So skip 1 and 2, and into the next one we are going to work our first shell. So to do a shell, you want to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into the same chain. So we're going to skip 1 and 2, and into the next one do a shell. So to begin the shell, yarn over and go into this chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet to start the shell. So now chain 1 and yarn over and go back into the same chain again and do a second double crochet. Then chain 1 and finally yarn over, go back into the same chain and do 1 more double crochet. So there we have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into that chain, and we have our first shell. And now we are going to skip 2 more chains. So skip 1 and 2, and into the next one do 1 single crochet like that. Then skip 2 more chains, 1 and 2, and into the next one do another shell. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, just like before, all into the same chain. So like that. And now we're going to skip 2 more chains, 1 and 2, and you want to repeat this all the way along for round 1. We're going to do a single crochet into the next chain, then skip 2 more chains, then do a shell into the next one, and then skip 2 more chains, and then repeat that again. Single crochet, skip 2, shell, skip 2, single crochet, skip 2, shell, skip 2, all the way along. So we have done a shell and then we have skipped 1 and 2. So we're going to do a single crochet into the next chain, then skip 2 chains and then do a shell into the next one. So do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, like that, and then skip 2 more stitches. And then we're going to repeat this again. Do single crochet, skip 2, shell, skip 2, all the way along for round 1. So I'm just coming to the end of round 1. So I have done my last shell here. So then I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches and then into the very last chain or the very last stitch at the end here, I'm going to do a single crochet. So you should finish off the round by doing 1 single crochet into the last chain. So there we have finished round 1 and we are ready to move on to round 2. So we are now on to round 2, and to begin this round you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now to begin this round, we are going to go down into this very first stitch here. So this is the last single crochet from the end of last round, and into this stitch we are going to do double crochet, chain 1 and then double crochet. So yarn over, go down into this first stitch here and do double crochet, then chain 1 and then do another double crochet down into the same stitch. So there we have done half of a shell at the very end here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next shell, and you want to go to the middle of this shell, so the second double crochet. So we have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and you want to go to the middle double crochet here and go into the top of this stitch and work 1 single crochet. So we have done a single crochet into the middle of that first shell there, and then you want to move on to the next single crochet from last round. So if you look, this single crochet is in the middle of the 2 shells from last round. So skip to the next single crochet in the middle, and into this single crochet we are going to do a shell. So just like last round, to do a shell you do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So yarn over and go into the single crochet and do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, like that. And now we're going to move on to the next shell here, and you want to go into the middle of this shell, so into the second double crochet. So we have the middle here, and go into this stitch and do 1 single crochet. So we're doing a single crochet into the top of the next shell and then into the next single crochet. So this is in between the shells. We're going to do a shell. So do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet all into this stitch. So into the single crochet. And you want to repeat this all the way along for round 2. Just like last round, we're going to do single crochet shell all the way along. But in this round, we're going to work our single crochets into the top of the shells from last round, and then we're going to work our shells into the top of the single crochets from last round. So repeat that all the way along. So I am just coming to the end of round 2. So I'm going to do a single crochet into the top of this last shell here, so into the middle double crochet. And then to finish off the round, we're going to go into this stitch at the very end. So this is the very first single crochet from last round. So if you kind of turn your work over, you can see this little single crochet that we worked at the beginning of last round. We're going to go into that stitch and we're going to work half of a shell. So just like we did at the beginning of the round, we're going to do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet into this stitch. So yarn over and go into the stitch, so the single crochet at the end, and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, so half of a shell. And by doing those half of a shells at either end, so here and here, you get a nice straight edge. So now we are ready to move on to round 3. So we are now on to round 3, and to begin this round you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now to begin this round, we are going to go down into this very first stitch. So this is the last double crochet from last round, and we are going to work 1 single crochet. So go down into this stitch. So this is the very first stitch of the round, and work a single crochet. So now this round, round 3, is very similar to last round. We're going to do a shell into every single crochet from last round. So here, here and here, you want to do a shell. And then we are going to do a single crochet into the top of every shell from last round. So here, here and here. So just like we did in round 2. So we have started off by doing a single crochet. So now we're going to move on to this next single crochet here, and we are going to do a shell. So yarn over, go into the single crochet and do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Like that. And now move on to the next shell and go to the middle of this shell, so the second double crochet, and work 1 single crochet. Then you want to go to the next single crochet here and do a shell. Like that. And then into the next shell, go to the middle of the shell, the second double crochet, and work 1 single crochet. and continue to repeat this all the way along for round 3. It's just the same thing as we did last round. I'm just coming to the end of round 3, so I have worked my last shell into the single crochet here, and then to finish off the round we're going to go into the top of this half of a shell here, which we did at the beginning of last round, round 2, and we are going to work a single crochet. So to start round 2, we did half a shell, so double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into this stitch, and here we have that little half of a shell, and you want to go into the top of this first double crochet, so the one at the very end. So here, go into this stitch and work 1 single crochet. So we have started and finished this round, round 3, with a single crochet. So there we have finished that round, and we are ready to move on to the next one. At this point we have completed rounds 1, 2 and 3, and for the rest of the length of our scarf we are just going to repeat rounds 2 and round 3, so the last 2 rounds that we just did, again and again and again, until you feel that your scarf is long enough. So you can do as many or as little rounds as you like, but I repeated those 2 rounds until my scarf was 32 inches long. But if you want a bigger scarf or a bigger snood, just do more repeats. So we have just finished round 3, so now you want to repeat round 2 again, then repeat round 3, then round 2, then round 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, again and again and again until you feel that it is long enough. And once you have done that, this is what you will have. So to create our scarf, to create this really pretty pattern, you are just repeating those last 2 rounds, round 2 and then round 3. So we have finished round 3, so we need to begin our first repeat of round 2. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn, and then to start round 2, we start off by going down into this first stitch here and doing half of a shell. So we do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into this very first stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet to start. And then you just want to continue your pattern of doing single crochets into the top of every shell from last round, and then doing shells into every single crochet from last round, all the way along. So you do this all the way along for round 2, shell, single crochet, shell, single crochet. So like that, so I'm just coming to the end of my repeat of round 2. So I'm going to go into the top of this shell here and do a single crochet, and then to finish off the round, go into the very last stitch at the end, or this very last single crochet, and do half of a shell. So do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into this stitch, like that. So there we have finished our repeat of round 2. So now we're moving on to our repeat of round 3. So to begin this round, chain 1 and turn, and the chain 1 never counts as a stitch. So to start round 3, you go down into this very first stitch here and do 1 single crochet, and then we're just going to continue our pattern all the way along. So into this single crochet here, we're going to do a shell, so do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, so like that, and then into the next shell do a single crochet. So do a single crochet into the second double crochet and continue this all the way along for round 3. So I'm just coming to the end of round 3. So I have done my last shell here, and then to finish off the round we're going to go into this very last stitch at the end here. So this is the first double crochet of last round. So we're going to go into this stitch and work one last single crochet. So you start and finish round 3 with a single crochet, and then you start and finish round 2 with half a shell, and that is the only difference between those 2 rounds. So continue to repeat those 2 rounds, rounds 2 and then round 3, again and again and again until your scarf is long enough. And like I said, I did mine until mine was 32 inches long. So now once you have finished working the length of your scarf, as you can see, I am just doing a little mini sample size for the video, for the tutorial. But when you are doing your scarf, you will have a much longer piece of work. And once you have finished getting it to the length that you want it, you now want to fasten off. So pull your yarn out and your hook, and then cut your yarn. And when you cut your yarn, you want to make sure that you leave a very long tail or a long end, as we are going to use this end to sew up our scarf and make it into a snood or a cowl. So leave a long end and cut your yarn like that and pull it through. And now if you do just want to leave your scarf as a scarf and you don't want to make it into a cowl like this, so where it's one big loop, then you can just skip this part and move on to the border. But if you want to make it into a cowl, then I will show you how to do that. So we are now moving on to sewing up our scarf or our cowl. And to do that, we are going to use the whip stitch. So if you have a look at my cowl here, you can see this very faint line. This is my seam. So the good thing about the whip stitch is that you can hardly see the seam. You can't see it. It just looks like one big loop. So to start off, you want to take a yarn needle or a tapestry needle, and you want to thread your end where you just fastened off through this needle like that. And then you want to take your work, and like I said, I just have a tiny little sample piece here, but yours will be much longer, and you want to fold it in half. So fold it in half like this, and then line up the stitches as best as you can. So I'm going to line the edges up, the corners, and line these stitches up. Then using your needle, you want to go through to the opposite side, so the very corner, and pull your yarn through like that. And then come back around with your needle. So come back around to the side that you just went through over here, and go into the next stitch and through to the same stitch on the opposite side, and pull your needle through and pull your yarn through. Then come back around to this side again. We're coming back around to the same side here. Go into the next stitch and the same stitch on the opposite side, and pull your yarn all the way through. And you want to keep doing this all the way along to join up your scarf. So we are always going through this side here. So with the whip stitch, you always go through the same side, through to the same stitch on the opposite side, and pull your yarn through. Then into the next stitch on the same side here, through to the same stitch on the opposite side, and through, and the next one, and keep going all the way down. and keep checking that your stitches are lined up perfectly. So I'm going to go through the same side here again, through both sides and through, then through to the next stitch, both sides and through, and keep doing this all the way along to sew up your scarf and make it into a cowl or a snood. So once you have finished going all the way along with the whip stitch, you want to go into the very last stitch at the end and just do 1 or 2 stitches into that stitch, and then you can pull your yarn all the way out, and then you will have sewn up your scarf. And then you can weave all of your ends into the inside. So go to the inside of the scarf or the snood and weave all of the ends into the inside. And now we are moving on to the border. So for the border, we have this little shell stitch border, and this is completely optional. You can just leave yours plain without a border, or you could do a single crochet border or a double crochet border. It's up to you. But for my scarf, I did this little shell stitch one, and I will show you how to do that. So now to make the shell stitch border, I'm going to come back to working with my little sample piece here. So I'm going to be going into the side of the stitches as you would be if you had a big cowl like this. And you want to start off by inserting your hook into anywhere along the side. It is just one big loop, so it doesn't matter which stitch you go into. Just insert your hook into any loop along the side. So I'm going to go into this one at the very end here. Then take your yarn, and you can use whatever colour you liked, but I just used the same colour I was using. So go and take your yarn, place it over the end of your hook and pull it through, and then chain 1, and this will attach your new yarn to your work. And now for the shell stitch border, we're just going to do the exact same thing as we did for round 1 of our scarf. So if you remember, we did single crochet, skip 2 stitches, then we did a shell, skip 2 stitches, single crochet, skip 2 stitches, shell, skip 2 stitches all the way along. So that is what we did for round 1, and that is what we're going to do for our shell stitch border. So we have inserted our hook into the stitch and chain 1, and this does not count as a stitch. So now go down into the same stitch and work a single crochet like that, and then skip 2 stitches, and we are working into the side of the stitches, so there are no exact stitches along here, but just sort of work them evenly. So say do 1 or 2 stitches into the side of each round or each row. So I'm going to skip this one, and then into the next stitch do a shell. So skip 2 and then do a shell into the next one, so like that. And then I'm going to skip 1 and 2, so you can see I'm skipping 2 of these little sides here, and then into the next stitch or the next side here, go into this space and do a single crochet. So you don't have to be too exact or too precise, as long as you are working them evenly. And you can see we have done our first shell, and continue this all the way around. So we have done single crochet, so skip 1 and 2 and do a shell into the next one. So I'm doing double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into this stitch like that. And then I have come to the end here of my sample piece, but if you had a long scarf, just continue this all all the way around. And then when you get to the very end, work your last shell, skip 2 stitches, and then do a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet that we just worked here. So finish off by doing a slip stitch and then fasten off, pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, and then weave that end into the inside of your scarf, and then you can begin working the exact same thing on the opposite side. So I did a border on either side. So for the border, like I said, you just do the exact same thing as we did for round 1 of the scarf. So just do the same thing all the way around, working into the side of the stitches. And then once you have done that and you have weaved all of your ends nice and securely into the inside, we have finished. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos, and thanks again for watching. Bye!